All right. So, welcome to day number 4 of this Help Talk series where we speak about prioritizing personal relationships over work life. Today, we are going to be breaking 3 myths about working long hours over other activities. Myth number 1: if you work for long hours, you'll get more done. So the logic of more hours equals more work is nothing but a pure myth. If that was the case, everybody would be doing that for days together. Working long hours leads to lower productivity, worse performance, and unhappy workers in real life. In real scenarios, what tends to happen is that when you work for longer hours, you tend to become more exhausted. You tend to feel more burnt out very easily as well. The Economist put together some data from 1990 until 2012 and found that longer working hours don't correlate with higher productivity. For example, Germans work about 600 hours less yearly than the Greeks, but their productivity is 70% higher. Likewise, another more recent studies showed that the most productive people actually work for 52 minutes and break for 17 minutes afterwards. Plus, many extra productive workers don't even pull off 8 hours working days, but choose to work shorter hours with frequent pauses. This was the Pomodoro technique that I was speaking about previously, where if you're working for, let's say, 25 minutes at a time, but you're taking that 10 to 15 minutes of break later on, and then again working for another 25 minutes. So you're working in frequent intervals, you're giving yourself time. That is very, very important to stay productive and creative as well. In short, work smarter, not harder. Plus, take frequent breaks. Longer working hours decrease your productivity levels, and the human brain just can't maintain its focus for 8 hours at a time. Myth number 2: multitasking is the key to achieving more in less time. I wish that was true. Sadly, it isn't. Multitasking has been praised and admired as a strategy that gets a lot done at once. Turns out, carrying on with a few tasks at the same time actually slows us down and increases the number of errors we make, as found by a study conducted at Stanford University. Imagine the fact that you have way too many tabs open on your laptop or your PC. If you are operating so many tasks side by side, your computer or your PC is likely to crash. At the same time, imagine the same amount of tabs, the same amount of tasks that you want to do in one entire day is open in your mind. Isn't your mind, body, or your mental health likely to head for a crash as well? You really need to look out for that. Whereas if we have lesser tabs open, let's say one or two tabs open, aren't we able to be much more productive and creative when it comes to focusing on our task and getting our work done efficiently, not just getting our work done just for the sake of getting work done in the entire day? The study showed that people who are prone to multitasking had worse memory, were often unable to pay attention, and couldn't filter the information accordingly to what's relevant for a particular goal. Therefore, they were slowed down by a bunch of unrelated information as well. What was even more surprising, multitaskers were quite bad at switching from one task to another as well, contrary to what one may expect. Another convincing reason to give up the destructive habit of multitasking is potential brain damage. Not to frighten you, but long term multitaskers have a lowered brain density in the region responsible for empathy and both emotional and cognitive control. This is huge. Imagine if you're multitasking for days back to back. back to back, just to get your work done, it can lead to potential brain damage. Again, not to frighten you, but you really need to keep your health in check. Although it's not clear whether multitasking creates physical damage to our brain, it's clear that it affects more than just our ability to concentrate as well, which is very important in terms of even getting any kind of task done efficiently. Last but not the least, the third myth is starting your day earlier makes you more productive. We've all heard about this, that waking up with the sunrise and starting the work day during early morning hours may be an excellent option for someone, but it's not for everyone. It's often said that when you wake up much earlier than others, you get more hours than other people. That's definitely there. But let's read up more about this. Although eating the frog at the beginning of your workday does help your productivity, it doesn't necessarily mean that early morning hours are the best timings for work in general. We all have our unique inner body clock or circadian rhythm, if you may, which rules when our alertness reaches its peak and when it drops low and makes us feel sleepy as well. Do you ever consider yourself an early bird or a night owl? Okay. Do you consider yourself to be an early bird or a night owl? Even though that may vary a bit during one's lifetime, science claims that being an early riser or not is encoded into one's DNA. So the best thing you can do is to arrange your workday according to your inner body clock as much as it's possible. Despite whether you choose to plug in earlier in the morning or start working later in the day, remember that the first hours of your work are the most useful for dealing with complex and dreadful tasks. Dealing with the frog at the very beginning will not only give you a sense of comfort, but will make the rest of your day more productive and efficient as well. So definitely we get some interesting insights that even if you're waking up early or you're starting your work much later in the day, if you work on tasks which are a little harder, a little challenging, tasks which are the most important tasks that you have to get out of your way, and then you focus on the easier tasks, you will have a much more smoother day altogether, and you'll be able to be more productive and creative as well. So listen to your body clock. That is the most important message over here when we are, creating our entire work life balance, when we are creating our schedule. When should, when do we have to work, when do we have to rest, more importantly giving time to ourselves, taking care of our health, and not working for, extended long hours just to get something done. When it's time to take rest, you should know it. That is the most important thing. There is no need to, push yourself unnecessarily just to get a task done. All right. Thank you so much once again for listening to me, for being a part of this session. I will see you in the next session, and we will talk about more in detail about how you can prioritize your personal relationships over your work life. Thank you so very much once again.
Help Talks are daily health related talks held at Health Education Library for People, Mumbai, India. For more information, visit www.healthlibrary.com. Subscribe to Help Talks channel. Be better informed about your health.